Welcome to episode 2 of the Chopped On podcast, your weekly Braves news analysis podcast from two huge Braves fans. It was a rough one in San Diego this week at Petco Park as the Braves get swept. Yes, that's right, swept by the San Diego Padres, meaning they have now lost 6 consecutive games to the Padres at Petco Park, extending back to last year's playoffs. Their last 6 games have been losses to the San Diego Padres. The Braves have not won a meaningful game since then. Terrible start to the year. Before we get into the game-by-game analysis, what are your overall thoughts for this past week of Braves baseball?
Well, my overall thoughts are our pitching has been overall good for this whole year, and our hitting, I just don't know what's been going on. Our bats have not been working. They obviously work, but we have just not been doing what we're supposed to be doing. We are playing like we've never swung a bat before. We're just swinging and missing every time. The only people that can make contact, basically, are Austin Riley and Drake Baldwin right there, the catcher.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Later on in this podcast, we will get to the breaking news of Jurickson Profar being suspended 80 games for PEDs. That's a rough situation. You just pay this guy after a breakout season. He has a slower start to the year, but everyone else did as well, so that's not really a big deal. But getting suspended 80 games, that is a rough look for this team and this organization, who is now going to be turning to likely Brian De La Cruz as their new starting left fielder until Acuna comes back, which would move likely, depending on how De La Cruz plays at a platoon type of situation. But we'll get into that later and some other moves the Braves made. But let's get into the game-by-game analysis. You're going to see a theme here with these breakdowns. Good, at least solid starting pitching, but then it gets handed off to the bullpen for really bad performances from multiple different guys, and the bats just completely lackluster all around. The fact that this is the best offensive performance we're going to look at from the Braves is kind of disgusting. 4 runs on 7 hits. That's not bad in a vacuum, but you got to be more than this in any game situation, but especially when this is your best game of a series offensively, this is not going to cut it. It really just is not. So the Braves lose opening day game 1, 7-4. Chris Sale, not his best outing. 7 Ks, 6 hits allowed, 3 runs. Wasn't bad, wasn't great. Went 5 innings for us. What are your thoughts on Chris Sale's opening day start?
Yeah, I would have liked for it to be better, but it's early in the season, and still not a horrible performance, and he still showed like he's still one of the best pitchers in baseball, and it's just like you can't do perfect every time. But I would like to say something else. How Brian Snitker took out Dylan Nee way too early in the game. He threw like 9 pitches or something, and he took him out. And then the guy right after gave up 3 runs.
Who is no longer
0 hits from Dylan Nee and everything, and you take him out on 9 pitches. I don't know what you're doing, but it's just
it was a bad call in that case. That's probably the worst managerial decision we've seen so far from the Braves team. Hector Neris now no longer on the team. We'll get into that in a minute as well. But just that was a poor decision in my opinion, because the Braves were right there in this game until that decision took place. But the offense, it was okay. A big homer from Ozzie Albies in this one to give the Braves a lead at the time. It was okay performances from a couple different guys, but overall not great. Profar had the leadoff hit in the game, but did strike out 3 times. So not a great performance overall from the team. Again, Chris Sale, decent. Didn't have his best stuff, but just a overall could have been better, could have been a worse scenario. Braves could have won this game if it wasn't for some poor managerial decisions. But, this is a game that was just unfortunate. I didn't expect to necessarily, come out with flying colors in this game, but it just wasn't great. Moving on to game 2, this was another loss for the Braves, obviously. And I want to give the Padres their credit because they are a really good team, actually. But a team like the Braves should not be getting swept by anybody, whether it's the incredible Dodgers or whoever it is, which we play next, of course, we should not get swept by anybody. But to get swept in the fashion we did is just disgusting. But Reynaldo Lopez gets the day 2 start. He didn't have his best stuff either. Only 1 strikeout in 5 innings with 9 hits allowed. Somehow only gave up 3 runs. It felt like he should have gave up a lot more than that the way he was pitching. So not a great performance from Ronaldo. Missed his spots quite a bit. The Padres actually, gave him a little bit of wiggle room, more than he probably should have. But this story is more of the Braves offense, because the bullpen wasn't bad in this game whatsoever. But the Braves offense was pretty pathetic. We had a couple big-time hits, but overall the hitting consistency was not there whatsoever. Poor performances all around. And it's a 3-4 loss that should not have been the case. But yet, again, here we are talking about a Braves loss in this scenario. Big homer from Kelenic. That was kind of a big swing at the time, but ended up losing. So, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this is just another game that was very close, and I feel like if Lopez could have pitched a little bit better, we definitely could have just won this game even without our bats doing as good as I feel like they should. Because, 3 runs are still going to be way better than what we're about to show you in the next 2 games.
That's true. Yeah, we really were a couple, better placed balls from Reynaldo Lopez away from winning this game. When he left some sliders down the middle, fastballs in lower in the zone, it's just not going to give you good outcomes. So this game could have been a Braves win if it were for a few minor adjustments. Getting on to our worst, actually I can't say that. Our worst offensive performance was Sunday's game, but this was really, really bad as well. Braves lose 1-0. Spencer Schwellenbach was phenomenal in this game. 6 innings of 1 hit baseball with 0 runs allowed, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. Schwellenbach was a breakout candidate for a lot of people, including us, and he showed why he was tremendous in this game against a really good Padres offense, like we were talking about. And just 1 run allowed by Aaron Bummer. He had a really rough regular season last year as well. I'm not sure how long we're going to keep bringing this guy in to help us in games. His stuff is good, but he hasn't been pitching well recently in the last couple of years. And offensively, extraordinarily poor performance. The best performance, I guess, was Marcel with his 3 walks in the game. So he had really quality ABs. But 5 hits allowed is just not going to cut it in this game. I do want to shout out Drake Baldwin, because he has been a guy who has got some unfortunate results from the swings he's been putting up. That batting average does not speak to how good he's been putting the bat on the ball, because he's been better than a .91 average. That is just what it is. But overall, a very poor performance from the Braves offensively. Pitching-wise was really good. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this is one of the best pitching performances, or definitely the best pitching performance from the Braves this whole year. But, this is just... I would like to say something else. We need to get Michael Harris going. He's been just absolutely horrendous in every single game this year, basically, with hitting. And, we just got to get him going, because, we can't just keep doing all that we're doing right now and expect to win games. Because, our pitching's doing everything they need to do, giving up 1 run in the whole game, and we're still losing. Unacceptable.
Yes, definitely unacceptable. The Braves did place an order for those specialty bats, or the torpedo bats as they call them, that the Yankees have been using. So, but that is not going to help you so much if you can't put the bat on the ball. But anyways, moving on to the final game of the series, a 5-0 loss for the Braves. Another disgusting performance, a really, really bad performance.
Yeah, I would like to just show the Braves almost got no hit. 1 run, just... 1 hit, that's my bad. But, yeah, just very shameful. Definitely the worst hitting performance of all year. Not even close. The night before was close, but, it's really not even close compared to this.
Yeah, it was a horrific hitting performance. One hit from Orlando Arcia in this game is all they got. Just pitiful. 8 strikeouts, 1 hit. Really non-competitive ABs for most of the time as well. Only 1 walk drawn as well. Just terrible baseball offensively. Pitching-wise, not bad. A.J. Smith-Shawver, I mean, for a young guy to come in, 4 strikeouts in 4 innings, 2 runs, is not terrible. It's not, what you're looking for necessarily, but it's not terrible. Hector Neris comes in and messes everything up again. But not that it mattered in this case because the offense was just absolutely horrific. But he has a 45 ERA, which is genuinely impressive. His ERA after game 1 in the series was literally infinity. His ERA could literally not be put a number on it. But now it's just at a solid 45. So that's terrific from the Atlanta Braves relief pitcher. Well, who is no longer there because he got DFA'd after 2 horrific performances. But anyways, back on topic. Offensively, bad. Bullpen, bad. Starting pitching has been the one thing so far that's been pretty decent, although not perfect as well. It's been really bad baseball from the Braves so far. Now getting on to the breaking news. Jurickson Profar, the Braves' really one and only big signing from this past offseason, just got an 80-game suspension for PEDs after 4 games in the season. I mean, that is just horrific. That is hard to look at. But, I mean, it is what it is. He has not been playing great so far, but to get suspended for PEDs before you can really get things going without playing a single home game is a really tough look. What are your thoughts on the suspension for Jurickson Profar and what it means for the Braves this season?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's just couldn't even play a home game and really couldn't even show out. I mean, he really hasn't done too much either with his bat either. And to still get suspended 80 games by doing PEDs is just very unfortunate.
Yeah, this kind of assumes the role for Brian De La Cruz, and I guess that would bring up Alex Verdugo likely as kind of like that next outfielder that they might platoon with as well. So we'll see how that works out. But I would guess tonight against the Dodgers, Brian De La Cruz is going to be the guy. So we'll see, but really unfortunate circumstances there. In other news, Hector Neris has been DFA'd by the Braves. Like you were talking about earlier, his ERA at a whopping 45, so that's not great at all.
Yeah, I mean, it had to happen. Just you cannot be this bad and expect to stay in the major leagues or even on a team. I mean, 45 ERA is how he ended with the Braves.
But in actually positive news, that means Braves legend Jesse Chavez is now going to be on the 40-man roster for the Braves. Close into seeing Jesse pitching for the Braves, which is always a fun time as he is really good as a Braves pitcher.
Yeah, he's been very good as a Braves pitcher and overall very horrible at everything else, pitching for every other team. But yes, the excitement for Braves fans everywhere because our favorite player, Jesse Chavez, is back.
And a quick preview of the Dodgers series come up. Not high expectations whatsoever. Braves are 0-4. Dodgers are 5-0. Just 2 teams that are going in completely different directions right now. Hopefully Grant Holmes can put up a good performance in Game 1 and Chris Sale in Game 2. But it's going to be really tough. That Dodgers team is loaded top to bottom. I don't expect much. Being on the road, I would not be doubted if we got swept whatsoever. But what are your thoughts on this series coming up?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that we have to go from getting swept to now going to most likely the best team in baseball, which is very unfortunate for our team. And, I mean, yeah, I do not have high expectations at all, honestly. I'm just hoping for one win at this point. We just need a win. One win will make me happy at this point.
The Braves do really just need a win. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Chopped On Podcast. Looking forward to more Braves baseball, as painful as it has been so far. But thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys in the next episode.
Chop on!